Got a million used ones up there in the attic.
All right, we're live with episode 94. We originally planned on being off tonight, but we've had a lot of developments over the last couple of days. So we're going to have a show tonight. I talked to these guys, and most of their stuff is done. JT, did you get your car done? I know you were waiting on parts or something.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay, so we're going to go over JT's run at Brownstown Saturday night.
Go over Zach's first. His is better.
No, go over yours.
We'll go over JT's.
I want to bring up the tail.
It was exciting. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Florence Northern All-Star results. And then at 8:30, 8:25-ish, 8:30, James Essex will be on the phone, and we're going to talk about the Marvin O'Neal Memorial this weekend at Paragon Speedway. Northern All-Star late models and modifieds. It is $10,071 to win for the late models and $1,500 to win for the modifieds. So, and that show was moved from Saturday to tomorrow night. So we'll get into all those details a little bit later. But before we get started, kudos to Paragon Speedway and the Northern All-Stars for making decisions for the racers and the fans with the forecast that was coming on Saturday and moving the event to Friday. So kudos to them guys. What's going on, G-Man? Glad you're tuning in. So let's get started let's go Florence first, JT. We'll let you sit down there and ponder for a little bit. Think about how you want to.
I've been thinking about it
Think about how you want to explain this last lap deal at Brownstown. So Florence had the Northern All-Star late models for the second time of the 2025 season. I got some results here. Let's go ahead and pull those up. Late model feature was won again by Josh Rice. Michael Chilton was second. Rod Conley third. Gilpin was fourth. And Trevor Landon was fifth. Obviously, you can see the rest of the top 10. Billy Green's having a good season. I think he's leading the Rookie of the Year points. But overall, Josh Rice doing Josh Rice things at Florence. Some notes. Looks like Jameson had issues again. Derek Groomer had some issues. Shout out to Tyler Neal for 10th in his debut in the super late models. Yeah, so shout out to those guys. And then in the mods, Ben Harmon picked up the win. Colin Green was second. Colin Green is leading the points for the modified division. Ryan Thomas was third. Jimmy Lennox Jr. was fourth. And Nick Snell was fifth. Anyway.
That was this past week?
That was this past weekend. I think, it's going to be a consistency game. Like Colin Green, he's staying consistent in modifieds. He's leading the points. Same with Josh Rice. We'll get into a little bit of the Paragon stuff in a little bit, but I think leaving Florence, that was being that's the two Northern All-Star races ran so far. Josh Rice has obviously won both late model races. Adam Stricker won the first modified race, and then Ben Harmon won the second.
Was Adam Stricker not at the second one?
He was, but he had issues.
I think they had ignition, wiring,
electrical issues or something like that. So
Ben's looking good too, though.
Ben is
been good all year.
So yeah, overall, I think it's going to be interesting to see moving on past Florence because, like I said, that's been the only two Northern All-Star shows we've had so far this year. So it's going to be interesting going to Paragon, two completely opposite tracks. You guys have. Jack, I know you've raced at both. What do you think? Completely opposite? I mean, it's same. Yeah. In a way, the same, but totally different.
Completely different. They both have a wall coming out of turn 4 that will sneak up on you.
Yes.
Well, one of them's turn 2, one of them's turn 4. But anyways.
Now, does a turn 4 wall sneak up on you faster at Paragon than it does at Florence?
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's the way that the corners laid out.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a phenomenal show.
I don't think anyone's going to get out there and walk away. I think there'll be enough cautions, and it'll just keep bunched up. You know what I mean?
If they can keep it smooth, I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
Race.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see you get 2 lanes.
Oh, yeah,
that would be sweet. Now,
I will say this as well. Going in, I know, like I said, these guys have not. 3 of these guys have not raced there before, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just shout out to, it's James Essex doing James Essex things as well. But Both Northern All-Star races have pulled in 30-plus modifieds and 30-plus supers in both shows. I think that's a phenomenal car count for as many shows that are going on in the country.
Mm-hmm.
To still pull 35 supers, I think it was Saturday night.
I don't think he'll
32
get that.
mods.
I don't think he'll get that tomorrow.
Probably not. But
Modifieds, I think you will.
yeah, he'll be.
But I mean, a lot of them guys that are following that series, I bet they'll come.
Yeah,
There's not. I mean, it's hard to tell which ones are following right now because a lot of them are just following Florence too.
yeah.
You
And
know,
Lucas-
is
Lucas
Billy
is
Green
off.
planning on running them all?
I
He's a
think he
Florence
is.
guy.
He went to Brownstown some last year.
Did he?
too.
Billy
Yeah.
Green's a good race car driver.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it just depends on where they're standing at in points too, like how far you're going to follow it. I mean, if you're in the top 5 in points, I don't know
I
why
think-
you wouldn't try to pursue it.
Yeah. I think he'll get 30 some cars in the
You
late
think that'll be
balls.
30 plus? at
I think there
Brownstown?
will.
Or
For
Paragon?
10,000 to win, that's quite a bit.
What are we putting on it?
I think Friday night hurts it a little bit.
I figured
know, for the
Friday night
working
would help
man.
it. Well,
know-
yeah, for a working man, I get that.
I know Chilton won't be there.
Oh,
I talked to him this week, and due to his trucking schedule, he
Okay.
couldn't. He was going to go Saturday, but he can't make it.
He's
on
high up
Friday
in the
night.
points, surely, because he ran
Yeah.
good the first night.
I don't. I did.
He's
look.
probably 3rd or 4th, I would think.
He's got to be.
I would think.
No, I think he's not. I think he's like 6th or something like that.
Because
Because
that first
he wrecked
night-
out the first night. He hit the wall in 3 and 4.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was ripping the lip though.
Yeah.
until
he
did
was
that.
he was
He's
ripping
giving
the
her hell.
lip.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, Jeff? Hey, Christy, congratulations on your job at Florence. What's going on, Logan?
What's
Logan's-
she doing at Florence?
She's the backup scorer
oh,
for Florence.
congratulations.
Logan's in here, so who knows what kind of information we're going to get this week.
I bet he can tell me the weather in Brownstown.
I bet
Did
he
you
can
talk
too.
to him?
I haven't talked to him. I haven't sent him any
Logan,
messages
we need
yet.
you here every week
Yeah,
for our weather update.
Yep. You're the new weatherman for Flag to Flag Media. What's going on, Okie? Glad you tuned in. Is anybody going to stop Josh Rice?
Yes,
Yes.
12 car. Scary, buddy. Josh Rice is going to get beat by Jason Jameson.
Good.
It's going to happen,
All right.
and it's just been a thing of bad luck, or it already have happened.
Right. Yeah. Well,
And I'm a Josh Rice guy,
well, I know you are.
but I'm Jason Jameson guy first.
Yeah, I know.
I got
You've
both their
always been
shirts.
a Jason
buddy.
Jameson diehard, bud.
I
I,
just
I think he'd buy his underwear if he was selling them.
bet he would too.
I buy the shirts, and I had a hat once.
Yeah. Hey, I did see that, William. Congratulations on your win at Arrowhead Speedway
Oh,
and first at Salina High Banks. Geez, what a week!
yeah, that's good.
Good
for the
job.
Okie.
Attaboy.
I keep seeing on Facebook he's a cheater or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Them googly eyes, those are not legal.
Yeah, they're not legal. What's going on, Debbie? You're welcome, Christy. Trent says, "Hi guys, missed y'all last week, but I caught the show on YouTube the next day." Well, we appreciate it.
Good
The
deal.
views of you, we'll take it.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
We got a bunch tonight.
We
Holy
do.
cow.
While you're
Wow.
at it, we've got another probably 20 minutes before James comes on. If you've not done so yet, get everybody in your family a Facebook account, hook your dog up with a Facebook account, log on, and let's get this thing shared out. That way we can get the information out there for Paragon Speedway tomorrow night, because that is the highlight of the show. And the highlight is Zach finished in second, and we'll get to JT's stuff here in a minute.
Let's just worry about Zach.
No, you got to tell your story.
Yeah, you're telling your story too. So Jeff Corbin said 1G. Hey,
If Jeff's
don't
working
think-
on it, it's always got a shot.
yes. I think Devin's been running great. I know Jeff put on my comment on my Facebook post the other day, said we suck or something like that. But I think he's been running
They're
good.
second in points, I think.
Yeah, I think he's running good. And I think Devin will run good at Paragon too.
I hope he runs all that
Yeah.
series. I assume he's
Me
going
too.
to, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he will.
Appreciate the share, Christy. Definitely appreciate it. Okay, let's get into Brownstown. We need to talk about this. This was a heck of a weekend. First and foremost, for Brownstown Speedway, we're going to start with this. We're not going to start with you two. There's somebody we got to give a shout out to, and that is our man Dalton Fleener.
Yeah.
Dalton Fleener
Yeah,
picks up the
None,
win in the big
Indiana.
Crown Vic special at Brownstown Speedway. What'd you say?
None, Indiana.
None, Indiana.
Where he's
None, Indiana's
hometown.
finest, Dalton Fleener. Eric Lewis was second. Brandon Kramer was third, which was a good run for Brandon. Matthew Weston was fourth. Ryan Woods was fifth. I'll tell you what, that was a good top five right there for a Crown Vic special. But Dalton, he was willing that thing, man. I'll give it to him. He was willing it.
Don't ever put Dalton Fleener in a competitive car and not expect to get beat.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, he was willing it.
Yeah.
He wasn't giving
I'll give
it
it-
all though.
Was he not?
No.
No.
Yeah.
He didn't even know they was that close when he poked his nose under. He put another 3 or 4 cars on.
Yeah.
And then he backed it down again.
you gotta save your tires, boys. It's a tire game in them Crown Vics.
He's
You don't
just
burn 'em off.
Dalton's got natural ability.
Yeah.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
So I really hate to see this, the second go around, but there's only 10 super stocks. Zach Sasser, or the Sasser brothers are 1 and 2 again, with Zach winning. Greg Amick was 3rd, Danny Hupp was 4th, and Craig Markle was 5th. Jack Roberts 6th, O. Webb Lee was 7th, and Sam Lee was 8th. Dustin Carr, I think, lost the motor, and I'm not sure what happened to Colton. Did he have motor issues also?
I don't know.
I think he was smoking, but I'm not 100% sure. So
Some Sasser boys
Gotta
are
talk
dialed in. Adam's
dialed in.
Adam's
It is-
got them tuned up.
It is pretty sad though that you go in there, you only see 10 super
I know
stocks.
that used. And we,
I mean,
I was talking to somebody the other day, like that was the class, like the last couple of years.
It's still a competitive class, I think.
It is.
what's
It
your
just-
top? No, I ain't gonna go into it.
Yeah, top. I'd say there's 3 or 4 guys there that.
Yeah,
I think that there's a bigger gap there than there is in some of the other classes,
Yeah.
like from your top to the bottom.
Yeah, there's a big fall off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree
yeah, because
with
you
that.
had the top 3 guys coming into lap 4th place.
Yeah.
in the feature.
Yeah.
So
big gap.
yeah,
Let's talk about the Hornets. Preston Ryhouse picks up his first win. It was a good run by him. Congratulations, Preston. Joshua Howlett was 2nd. Max Claycamp was 3rd. Skylar Ashley was 4th, and James Simmons was 5th. So
They said Mikey blew up, I think. Too.
yeah, that's what I heard. Mikey blew up.
Hopefully he gets that thing back together.
Yep. Are you ready, Zach? You got a story put together?
Oh no, I'm just
All right.
here.
Tyler Kane picked up the win. Our very own Zach Stalker was 2nd. Skylar Lewis was 3rd. Caleb Schreier was 4th. Ron Moon was 5th. So I was going to ask you this. How was the car?
It was good.
Let's talk about that.
It was really good the first night out. Qualified quick time overall, and went the heat race and didn't have any brakes, so I was just kind of out there for the ride, and it would
Tight.
not turn.
I
It
can
would
tell.
just go to the floor and come in. And I told Dad, I said, "We ain't got any brakes. We got to do
Right.
something." And we got them fixed pretty quick, and I went out for the feature, and I could see him up there for a minute, and I thought I was catching him according to lap times. I was, but got behind lap traffic, and he
I think
took
lap
off.
traffic was the game changer in that right
Yeah, I got stuck on the bottom, and I was scared to death. I didn't know how far they were behind me, and I was scared to death to go around because I wasn't sure of the track, and I just kind of nosed my way through there, and we had a good night.
Yeah.
Car's the best it's ever been.
So can I cash the consulting check? I wanted to check before. I want to see how good you did before I actually cashed the check.
Yeah, you
Am
can.
I good to cash it
Yeah,
now?
you can
Okay,
cash
good.
it. Yeah,
All right.
we're good. We're good.
All right. So the changes I made were approved by you, and I can cash the check, right?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's
I'll save those Google spreadsheets that I found. I'll get those saved so we can use them later.
yeah. I'm hoping all the hard work that we did this winter pays off. But
Yeah, I know you guys put a lot of work into it this winter. That's why I wanted to check and see.
It's I don't know, very thankful. I got a lot of good people that helped me out, and got a great crew. I mean, they're on top of everything. So it's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, good deal.
Excited.
Trent said, hell of a good field of cars tonight at the Mars race. That Mars racing out there, I mean, they were going to pull some good cars, especially all the Illinois guys. You know, they're on that Mars stuff right now since most of the big series aren't running. I know the World of Outlaws ran at Farmer City, but yeah, the Mars they're picking up all that West Coast Western stuff. So Paragon will be a good race the way the track is made. I agree, Mike. I think it's going to be a good race. Matthew said topside dominant. It was a Dalton Fleener type track.
That's right.
Definitely.
Put her on
was.
the cush and let her eat. Was pretty good field of super stocks at Paragon last week. I think,
how many do they have at Paragon?
man, I didn't even look it
I
up.
think Lee won, didn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's another one that's really fast. You know,
Lee. Yeah,
you put him and Sassers together. That's the best
be a
in
good
state,
show.
I think.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you what, I think the reason a lot of them's going there is it pays more.
Yeah.
It does
Right.
pay more.
Right.
And a lot of them guys that, used to pass by there, they're going there now.
Right.
Plus a loyalty bonus.
Oh, really?
Well, loyalty, you get free pit pass.
Yeah.
Oh,
free
yeah.
pit pass.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's really a bonus,
means-
whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But that means a lot. I mean,
Oh, that's
Oh,
years time.
that would be, you'd save a lot of money that way.
Oh, 100%.
Because you think all the loyalty deal that they're doing, each driver is probably going to bring 3 or 4 people.
Oh, yeah.
Some more than others, some less than others.
It's a huge benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say this because Circle City paid more. We went to Circle City on Sunday, and I got $75 for a 10th. I think is what they scored me, which is pretty good. Which is more than Brownstown, but it was $40 pit pass plus a $10 transponder rental. So I think if you do the math on that one, that it don't come out like it seems like you're doing better, but I don't think you are.
Yeah.
'Cause especially when I figured that I brought 5 guys with me at $40 a piece, I'm sure we didn't do better.
Yeah.
Right. All right, JT. All right. So Blake Hall picked up the win. AJ Wilson was second. Cody Ellison was third. Philip Boudreaux was fourth. Mickey Hines was fifth. And you got scored 10th?
I'm not even on there, I don't think.
Yeah, you are Jeremy Huffman.
That's Hoffman. I don't
Hoffman. They didn't change it on there.
So George, he did say on the Dirt to Media broadcast, he was calling you Jeremy, like during hot laps and stuff.
Right.
And he's like, I gotta apologize. That's the Maverick.
Yeah.
So
No big deal.
let's for anybody that watched it or was there or what have you, let's go to the driver's seat of the 95H. Last restart, single file. All the other starts were double Delaware, but the last restart was single file.
Yeah, I've watched it 100 times and played it in my mind. I didn't do what I needed to do is what it comes down to.
So from the vantage point or what I seen was, did Blake fire better than you did on the last restart?
I think Blake was firing better than me on all the starts, to be honest with you.
I'm just talking about the last one. I'm just trying to go through the last restart.
I didn't think I was buzzing the tires, but man, you watch the video and I'm running it down the bank.
Right.
And I feel like I'm hooked up, but he's on me the whole time. And I don't think he was guessing it. I think I didn't see, anything he did wrong. Let me kind of start my night like Zach so I can tell you how it went.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Yeah. I want to hear it all.
So we unloaded a car that we built from frame up this winter. We started with just a frame and put it together. And like Zach, we had brake problems in hot laps. So we went out there and hot lapped, and we was 4th overall somehow, but my brake pedal was falling all the way to the floorboard. So we got that fixed and we're out for the heat race. I don't think I was the fastest car in the heat race. Strevel just had a flat tire.
Right.
So I was passing when his tire blew, but I don't know if I would have passed him for real or not. So that put us winning our heat race, which started as 3rd. And when in the heat race, we were super tight. And I told him, I said, guys, it's not good. I said, it's not turning center off. It's turning in good, but it wouldn't turn center off. So we tweaked on it because we're doing some different things with springs that we've never done before. Me and Zach had thrown it around for 2 years, and I finally spent the money and bought the springs that I wanted to try. So we made a little spring adjustment and fuel it back up, put some better tires on it, and man, we fired off in the heat race or the feature really good. Started 3rd and pushed Mickey Hines into the first corner and ended up 2nd in the first corner. And like 4 or 5 laps in, I passed Blake for the lead. Caution came out. Every caution he could get to my door in 1 and 2, but I could run back past him. So the second to last caution, we'll start with that one because that one's the one where I thought I figured it out. It was probably like 6 or 7 to go. We had a caution and we took off, and I blocked the slider and it worked, but we had a double file restart, like you said.
Right.
So I knew that he had picked the bottom because they tell you, whoever out. So I knew he was on the bottom, and I really wasn't worried. And nothing against whoever was running. I think Wilson was running there, who was really fast, but I knew that Blake was probably the guy to beat because if there's a cushion and there's a top side, the only guy that I thought could do it with the way I do it was Blake Hole out there. Me and him can beat down a cushion. We've done it together in super stock. So I went in there and blocked him that time, and it worked perfect. But on that last one, we had a half straightaway lead, and the caution came out, and I was sick. And my brother was there throwing his signals is just point to the top. It doesn't matter if there's no cushion. It doesn't matter if the top of the racetrack it just fell off.
Right.
He would tell you to go to the top. So the last caution came out. I knew we were starting single file because they told us. I knew there was 2 to go. I thought he knew that I would try to block the slider because I did that the race before, and it worked so well. So I was like, I'm not going to block it. That way he don't run around me on the top. Should have blocked it. Didn't. I got in the center of the corner and got tight. I hit the cushion wrong and got tight. Checked up, got back on the gas, and he was sliding up. So I checked up again to cross over, and then he blocked my slider in 3. I hated that move, but that is exactly what I would have done. That's what he should have done.
Right.
I hated that he did it because I was going to throw one. Is what it is. Ran him back down in 1 and 2 because he went back to the bottom, and I was still up there ripping the top like an idiot because that's what I do. And I thought, going down the backstretch, I done made up my mind that I wasn't there to race for second. I could have rolled in and followed him. So in my head, I don't remember lifting. If I did, it was just barely a burp. But I drove it in a 3 with full send.
Right.
And I think if it would have came out of the corner, it would have been a heck of a picture at the line. But it just didn't take it.
Right.
And, I hit the wall pretty hard and took a really good race car and had a good chance of just destroying it. Luckily, I don't think we did. We've looked over it 100 times, and it just sucks to give, you had a half straightaway lead and you caution, which I'm not mad at nobody for that. That's racing.
It's racing. I mean,
but
I will say from a fan standpoint, though, it was a phenomenal race. I mean, I know you were 1 spot short of where you wanted to be, but I think you and Blake put on a pretty good show for the pure stock class of Brownstown.
Yeah. I mean, I said, if there's a cushion, Blake can pound it just as good as anybody.
Right.
There's just certain guys that run the top that are good. And, out of all the super stock guys, even the Sassers are really good and the Chastains are really good, but nobody pounds the cushion like Blake does.
Yeah.
Me and him both did that our whole super stock career. So when there's a cushion, count on me and him up there pounding on it.
Yeah. Well, so what happened to you at Circle City?
Qualified fast overall, went out to the heat race. The track was, and I know it was their first race, so I'm not bashing, but it was extremely rough. It's probably the roughest racetrack I've ever been on. And I caught a rut in the first corner, and I think Josh Turner did the same thing right behind me, but we caught the rut, and it shot our cars up into the wall off of 2. I mean, I went from 1st to 4th, and he went from 3rd to 5th or something.
Yeah.
Then in the feature, we made the changes to try to fix it, but it was still rough, and distributor went bad for him and got the green. So
I got you.
Got me a new distributor, and we're gonna try a race again this weekend, and get this bad luck off our back, and put my 11S shirt on and pull for my buddy.
There you go.
And I think maybe somebody else is making a debut this weekend, possibly, and I'll probably have his hat
That's
on.
what I heard.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
All right.
If we race, we will be there.
All right. Well, overall, it was a pretty good weekend, I think, for everybody. I mean, a lot of good racing, and like I said, I think the pure stocks, in my opinion, pure stocks will probably be the class of the year at Brownstown, 100%. Just overall, racing wise.
I mean, also, I think
nothing against
last
the
year too.
Yeah. I think pure stocks is just where it's at right now. And even if you remember, back in the early 2000s, the true bomber class was phenomenal back then too. So
right, and I think if you look at that top 10 of cars, there's really good field of cars in that top 10.
There is,
and I think the crate classes, I think it's going to be good too. I think Zach and Tyler's going to be the class of the field. Yeah. I really do, and I think we're going to be on the pad pretty soon.
Yeah. Chris, you said awesome job again, Zach.
Thank you.
Dustin said I'm like Ron Burgundy. If it's on there, I will read it. He's used to. He's all good with it. He's always. And shout out to Dustin George and thanks for leading the pure stock heat race, because Dustin gave Flag to Flag Media a huge shout out over the interweb. That was phenomenal. And you're more than welcome to come on here anytime, Dustin. We'll get on here and we'll talk about racing. So you come on over anytime. And just an FYI, Wendy has never been on this show that I know of. So Wendy told him that she'd been on here before.
Oh, she was on here a couple of times, I think.
Live?
Yeah, she said right there by Peyton now. one day. Where were you at? Were you
I must not have been around them shows, I guess.
drinking the Busch Lights? That night, I
Probably,
guess.
yeah, exactly. Jeremy Weaver said Pierce is going to win tonight. Logan says, JT, keep digging, buddy. You had a dang good car.
Thank you.
Old Parker Perry making his debut in the late model. I seen he was up there at Brownstown practicing. Brandon Carr's good on the cushion too.
Parker Perry is making his debut this weekend, or
I think it's this coming weekend. I think.
that's a great car, right?
Yeah. Shannon said, good luck to everybody this weekend. Logan said, Stalker, you look good too. You'll be parked on the concrete, and same with JT. Hard work is paying off.
Thank
And
you.
a little bit,
I like
Hopefully.
Logan.
a little bit of consulting from flag to flag, but we won't mention that.
We need more people. We need more viewers like Logan. Shannon, Paul, step it up a little bit. Come on.
Oh shoot. Yeah, anyway. All right. So that's the results from this past weekend. Before we get James on the phone, I'm gonna go ahead and do a sponsor shout out. That way we can get our sponsors recognition they deserve. We got TJ and T&J Demo to Reno, Dirt Track Outfitters, Kane's Tree Service, Jerry Davis Race Engines, P3 Graphics, Superheat Solutions, Alexander Ranch, Harv, Hoosier Auto Racing Fans, Honeydew Handyman, Midnight Sports Gear, Jason Petmeyer Farm Bureau, TSR Chassis, Jeff Mouse Transmissions, Green's Auto Sales, Burt Sewer Drain and Septic, Pop Bit, Foam Solutions LLC. Don't forget to mention Flag to Flag Media. You get 10% off of your job. Laura Bennett Racing, M2 Designs, King Construction Group, and Simpson Roofing and Exteriors. Also, don't forget to go to dirttreckoutfitters.com and pick up your latest Flag to Flag Media apparel and be the coolest person in the pits.
They can't be no cooler than me right now because it's freaking cold in here.
Hey,
I think
it ain't
pretty
that bad.
good.
It ain't
Yeah.
that bad in here.
That's
It's cold in
good.
here, boy. I need my coat.
It ain't that. All right, let's get James Essex on the phone. Let's see if James will answer. I'm ready to talk about some Northern All-Star stuff at Paragon this
What
weekend.
if he don't answer?
If he don't
So-
answer, then he don't know what he's missing out on.
It'll be better than that time I tried to call Bo and it wasn't Bo.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Before I call him, though, let's make sure. I want to make sure that
This worked so good last time. I'm
There
excited
it is.
about doing it
Just
again.
got your X there.
I knew what was wrong.
Well, okay. Well,
No.
I got a new phone and it wasn't hooked up to the Bluetooth.
Oh,
you ain't-
really?
You ain't
Yeah.
got it to work yet this time, so let's not get too excited here.
They were good.
They'll be able to hear him and not us.
There we go.
Ring a ding.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, James, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Is it okay if I'm speakerphone or am
Yeah.
I all right?
No, you're
Okay.
you're perfectly fine.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for joining the show, and I'm excited to talk about some Northern All-Star stuff this weekend at Paragon Speedway. Can you go ahead and give us a little bit of the down low, start times, all the good info before we start talking about some of the racing action?
Well, first line, long time caller, first time listener, right?
Yes,
As I
yes.
would say, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I just looked at the hour by hour. It's not supposed to start raining till like 3 or 4 Saturday morning.
Good.
So,
Good.
well, it's like a 1% chance through like 2 a.m. tomorrow night. So we're good on that. So hopefully this is going to turn out. This was a decision, and I'll get to the starting times here in a moment. The decision I've been kicking around Monday because when I see the extended forecast for Saturday, obviously it's looked terrible all week long. So I went to the No Way Out 40 there at Paragon in March, and they had just basically changed that from a Saturday to a Friday, like within 24 hours, right? And,
Yes. Yep.
and they had 31 sprints show up, and they had a heck of a crowd. And I had not been there in a long, long time, and it was like. So that kicked around in my thoughts. So I messaged Corey Helton, who obviously is a big part of Paragon Speedway, along with Josh Cunningham and Corey's dad, Daryl Helton. But it's like, well, would you consider moving this thing to Friday? Because the Friday forecast was looking good. We just didn't know when it would start raining Friday night, possibly earlier in the week. So kicked it around. They had a meeting. They talked about it and said, let's do it. They talked to the O'Neals, Don O'Neal specifically as well. And they said, let's do it. So it's been a media frenzy. I mean, wow. I mean, it
Right.
has been a media frenzy. By the time you send out text messages, press releases, Messenger on Facebook and so on. I mean, it's just overwhelming because I've got obviously let all of my drivers know that run the Northern All-Star Le Mans Modified, plus everybody else that I think was going to be there. So it's like a majority of them will be there. It's, you know, there's a few that have to work, and I understand it's Good Friday. There's a lot of people off work, but it's going to be good. I think it's really going to be a good turnout, and I hope the fans come out and support it. Paragon in the future, they want to do a Lucas Oil race. So this is a step in that direction.
Right.
And, you know, you've got some heavy hitters there. Last weekend, Josh Rice, he has never been to Paragon. He obviously leads the Northern All-Star points. He won at Florence. Hudson O'Neal's going to be there. He has never raced there, and that's basically his home track.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
He grew up a few miles from there in Martinsville. So he has never raced there. He swept Wheeling last weekend. I mean, he beat, Jonathan Davenport and Mike Marlar and Brandon Overton and Cade Dillard and on and on.
Yep.
He's there for the first time. Then Dalton Wilson, who won the big 602 Nationals at Fayetteville, North Carolina, 50,000 last week. He's coming tomorrow. He's never been there either. A lot of the guys have never been there that run with the Northern All-Stars. And the modifieds are excited. There's a lot of bonus money up for grabs. Matt, have you seen?
Yep.
Thanks to all the great sponsors. $710 for fast time in the late models. $710 to win a heat race. $710 for hard charger. Just a tremendous amount of bonus money. They're going to open the pit gates at 4. Probably going to have to do it earlier.
Yeah,
because I can see a line developing quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The hillside, they've got it at 5:30. So
okay,
give or take that. But I would get early. I know there's people that still have to work tomorrow, but the way the weather's going to be, I mean, it's going to be 80 degrees. You can't beat that in April. And the chance of rain is like very minimal, 1 or 2%, which is hard to believe. But if we're there till midnight, then we got a problem, right? I mean, I'm not doing my job if we're there at midnight. Plan to get them out of there. Run an efficient show as we always do at the Northern All-Stars. And in the rest of the weekend, I don't know what's going to happen with some of the local tracks. Who knows that the weather just doesn't look good. And then be at home enjoying Easter Sunday.
Right, exactly. So speaking of, on the bonus or the extra money as well, I have noticed that. So Randall Kindred has the 71st fan gets in for free. The 171st fan gets in or gets $71 for Masters Built. And I did notice that somebody also too put up, there's like 4 or 5 other, like the 271st fan all the way through like 471 or something like that.
I don't know if they're going to be there to count them.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how they're going to keep track of all that, but yeah. So there's a lot of incentives, and I did see where Hudson released today that the first 5 fans that come to the T-shirt trailer with a valid ID and prove that you're 71 years old gets a free O'Neal Racing T-shirt.
I did see that. That's pretty interesting. He's always doing something different and unique, and that is awesome. But I mean, obviously, there's a lot of fans from Martinsville.
Yes.
That watch the O'Neals basically grow up there. Don and Marty, and of course Marvin. Marvin raced there mostly the 70s and 80s, the hobby stock limited late model. Don and Marty ran there in the 80s limited late model, and then they came to Brownstown in about 1990. They had new Rayburn stuff, Nibel engines, and that's where they started, and the rest is history at Brownstown, obviously. But it's a thing that's been in the works for about a year now. Marvin died in December of 2020. Well, it was right after Christmas in 2023.
Yep.
So Tessa Sims, who's Hudson's girlfriend and fiance now, and so we had been discussing this like since last July, basically to do this, and it's like we just couldn't get it together with my schedule, with Hudson's schedule, with my Lucas Oil, my Eldora, and all that. So that's one of the things about moving this race to Friday is that we really didn't have a date after this weekend that was going to be compatible to where I could be there, Hudson could be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're putting this on in honor of his grandfather, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be spectacular. But it's like, man, we really don't have any other Saturdays, and it's like, hey, the Heltons at Paragon said, let's make this work, and so I've been on it. I've hardly been able to sleep because of the anxiety and doing this, and it's like, you know. And I know they were successful in doing it. The No Way Out 40. I hope it's just successful tomorrow night. In what they're doing.
And like I said, that's when DJ called me the other day. He's like, "Hey, can we possibly put something together?" I'm like, "Absolutely. You know, we need to promote this as much as we can. You know, so."
Well, right, and you know, it'll be streamed on Hunt the Front TV, and I know several people do have that, and I'll be announcing. So I guess that's an added bonus. Heck, I don't know, but anyway,
it is.
But anyway, so with the caliber cars there, I mean, you got 3 drivers coming off of big wins last week, and you add in all the other guys we're going to have there, and who knows who else will show up. I mean, you're talking about a stout modified field as well. So they've made a lot of improvements there the last couple of years. They put a lot of money into it. The grandstands they've got are really good. Aluminum grandstands. They've done some stuff on other things. And so they really want to make this work. And I really want to make it work because, I mean, this is something they have run some late model shows, as you guys know, the last few years, and they've run some crate races and they've had single digit car counts. And that's not, you know, that's not going to cut it. And so we hope to come in there. I'm not saying how many we're going to get. We've averaged obviously 35 at Florence. Late models, 32 mods. But what I'm excited about this Northern All-Star thing, and I think you and I discussed this, and you've seen it, the guys moving up, the guys moving into this, the Steve Pedens, the Tyler Kane, I mean, not Tyler Kane, but Tyler Neal, who was impressive at Florence last week. Jug Wethington's got an open motor. Mike Gibbs' son is going to have an open motor. Keegan Cox is back in an open motor. Skylar Lewis is trying to get an open motor back. So that's what we're looking at. Guys in Indiana around here, they're excited about doing this and want to run this deal. You know, you've got Dustin Shoulders in the Bumgardner car, and you got on and on. It's just really enthusiastic. My goal with this Northern All-Star deal in the future is to get 40 and 40. Now, I know in 2025 that sounds crazy. I see no reason why I can't average 40 late models and 40 mods at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
At some point, I'm not saying this year, but maybe next year. I've had guys in modifieds. Of course, Brownstown hasn't run them in 2 years now. I had guys sell out, sold everything. If they said they wouldn't have done it if they would have known that I was going to start this back up again a year ago.
Right.
Which I didn't know a year ago I was going to do the modifieds again until later in the year. It's like, hey, you know, we might get back into this thing, you know, next year.
Well, what I like about the Northern, we kind of talked about this too. What I like about the Northern All-Star stuff is it's more of it's a local regional type thing, right? I mean, most tracks are 2 hours from here, if or less. So it gives these guys, the mod guys, places to run and have something to go for, in my opinion. Well,
another thing too with the modifieds, we're in with the UMP Dirt Car, so they're going to get UMP Dirt Car national and regional and state points as well, along with Northern All-Star points. So that is good. It's just like the tire deal, trying to get it, you know, the new tire on the right rear for the late models, and that comes up all of a sudden. So I have to deal with that. But I mean, it can still run the old ones as well, the 3s and 4s, and they can run the new ones, which have been distributed by Hoosier this week to their distributors. So it's tough. It's kind of not the greatest of timing, obviously, in April. But the thing of it is, if they're going to last longer and it's a better tire, I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I mean, obviously they're running in Iowa tonight, probably the first time with several of them, but, you know, we'll just have to see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm enthused over this. I mean, we got a really good group of drivers, and we can only build on it. I mean, we're paying $10,000 to win the points. I've got a lot of great sponsors that have come on board this year, and I just look for it to get bigger and better. But it's like somebody asked me, said, even if I didn't do Lucas Oil or Eldora, I still wouldn't do more than 15 to 19, 20 races, because these guys, a lot of these guys just have one motor and one car.
Right.
You know, and if they lose them, if they hurt a motor, they may be done a while. If they tear up a car, you know, they may be done for a while as well. So it's like, hey, you know, let's do this. And 14 races. I don't know how many we're going to get in, but we'll see. We'll go from there then. But you got to remember that I'm going to a lot of tracks that run sprint cars on a regular basis, which is pretty cool.
Right.
I mean, people forget back in the 80s and to the 90s, I mean, there were late models every week at Lawrenceburg, and Bloomington ran UMP late models for a while. Paragon never really ran them on a consistent basis, but Putnamville did on Sunday nights and other tracks. So I'm going to be going like Circle City, Lawrenceburg, Bloomington, Paragon, which is an open wheel, and that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fine. They and the improvements they're making at Bloomington have been tremendous, and looking forward to that at the end of May, the Don Hobbs Classic there, and all of this. So, I mean, I don't know where where it's going to lead to in the future, but we're going to give it our best shot. I know this week has aged me about, I don't know how many.
I guarantee it has.
It's the anticipation, the anxiety. And as you know, when we made the decision Tuesday, we really didn't know what the forecast was going to be for Friday night.
Right.
Until we get to like today.
Yep.
It's like, hey, they're all 100% full steam ahead. It's like 80 degrees. We're going hard at it. And hey, I just hope it works out for them. I know it's going to be a great show. And, man, there's a lot of drivers that have never been there. It's hard to believe that, you know, even like with Hudson, it's hard to believe that he has practiced there, but he's never turned a competitive lap. Of course, they haven't run late models.
Yeah, exactly.
They've run the Ultimate Series a couple of years, and then before that, it was like the early 80s when they ran the All-Star late models that I got to announce, which was tremendous. But, I mean, I barely remember that. That was a long time ago. Good thing there's still some write-ups that I done about it.
Yes,
back in the day.
That's well before Hudson's time.
Well before Hudson's time. Well, it was actually well before Don and Marty even started in 81 and 82. So
that's true.
They ran like hobby stocks like Brownstown did, and then they ran limited late models through the 80s. And that's where Don, Marty, and Marvin basically raced it in. They all got into the open. Well, you know, to me, it used to be, now when we called a late model, it was a late model. Now
Right.
you have to distinguish, okay, open late model, super late model, pro crate late model, 602, 604. You got to go through all that. Steel block, blah, blah, blah. Back then, it was just all late model. Everybody knew it. Right.
Yep. We talked about that on the show last week with the mods, you know, B mods, X mods, open mods.
Well, that's a very good point. And it's like the B mods, they're getting stronger. They got crate motors, whatever, but still for the UMP type modifieds, I just felt like that it was, you know, or something we could do. It's a bigger purse than what normally, you know, and a lot of people, they like running Brownstown, the modifieds. They miss running there.
Right.
And that's one reason we brought them back. Unfortunately, the whole month of March there, we just couldn't do anything with them because of the weather. But hopefully in the future, we'll do some more. And we got one scheduled May 31st there, and in August for the Hall of Fame deal. So I think, you know, it's going to work. And you guys were talking about the pure stocks, which is, hey, Brent Howard at Rod Auto Parts, you know, kicking in the money. And he was going to do that last week or 2 weeks ago at the Ira Baston race. But whenever the next time the Northern All-Stars are there, which is May 31st, then we'll do that bonus again that he offered. But that's a very competitive class. I am a little bit disappointed about the super stocks. I mean, it's just, it's just like, what's going on here? Because what did Brownstown had 10, they started 8 in the future. Paragon only had 15. So it's like, okay, there's probably a few done, but it's like, what's going on here? Is this something that, you know, I don't know.
Way down compared to what it used to be, you know, like,
well, I mean, we know how it was there for years when it was street stocks, and in super stocks, you had 40 cars, 35 to 40 every week.
Yep.
And now you're getting to the point where, I mean, you know, Brownstown last month paid $1,000 to win on the icebreaker and had what, less than 10? I don't know.
Yeah, it was 9.
Yeah, it's disheartening to me. It's like, you know, because growing up at Brownstown, and that was in the 90s especially, was a premier. I mean, it was just a fantastic division with just a lot of great competition. And if you won in Brownstown in a street stock, same way in a late model, then, I mean, you did something.
Right. Exactly.
You were somebody.
Right. Yeah, I know Paragon has put in, I mean, everybody at this table can agree, but Paragon has put in so much effort and time into their facility over there that I really, really hope that people come out tomorrow night and support them and the Northern All-Stars, just because they are trying to do what is right for the racers and the fans. I mean, they're pouring their heart and soul into that place over there. So hopefully,
right. Well, it's like the No Way Out 40. When I was going to go to it, let's see, when was that? That was like we had a race. We was going to have a race at Florence. We was going to have the Spring 50 originally on the 15th of March, and then that was canceled on Friday, but because of the weather, and then we had the bad storms and a tornado and all this on Saturday morning. But yeah, it's like, okay, so I'm thinking about, okay, I was going to go anyway because they moved it to Friday. Well, they moved it to the Friday, and it's like, man, this is a big gamble because you're talking about a pretty good purse here. It was $10,000 to win for the sprints, and $1,000 to win for the mods, and I'm thinking, whoa, this is going to be wild. But it was 80 degrees. It was warm.
Right.
And it was packed out, and we got it done. They got it done. I was on the road at 10 o'clock, and then you had storms overnight, so everything went well. But as far as that, the racing was concerned, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the late models, that it's an unknown quantity there as far as what kind of crowd can you draw. And they've really, the last couple of years, especially this year, they really wanted a Lucas Oil race, and it's like, and I told him, I said, you're going to have to take baby steps first because you're going to have to prove that you can put people in the grandstand.
Right, exactly.
And that's a big part of why we did the O'Neal race, because we knew we could fit Hudson in there and let's see what he could do. And then when you add Josh Rice and James Rice and Jameson and all the, all these other guys running with us, whoa. You know, this could be something. And then you add in the Steve Peens and Tyler Neals and Jug Wethingtons and all that going open late model motors. Yeah.
And I think with Dalton and Josh and Hudson never racing there competitively, I think it puts everybody in an equal playing field. That's why I'm excited about it.
That is look at Derek Groomer. Yeah. He's got a lot of laps there.
Yep.
He has been good at Florence. I mean, he led the Spring 50. Broke last week. He was running second, got some through the radiator, lost all of his coolant, shut the motor off. I think it's all right. This guy could win this thing tomorrow night.
Or you throw a James Rice in there, like
James Rice, Jason Jameson, Dustin Nobby, David Webb, Chilton. You go on down the road, but there is plenty of talent around this part of Indiana that's hopefully Jared Bailey's going to be back. He's been ill the last few weeks. Hopefully he's going to be back and racing. But, man, a Derry Groomer to win that race, I think he's going to run both late model modified. So more power to him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing we got to figure out, James, is how to get Zach Stalker over there in a super late model. I don't know what we got to do
Well,
yet.
I told him that.
I
I said I'm doing a crate bonus tomorrow night, the highest finishing crate.
I've been on him. Trust me.
I said it might be the only race you run this weekend.
I was going to load his car
Right?
up while he wasn't even home a while ago, to be honest with you. Tell him we're headed to Paragon.
Well, he proved that last year. What on the race at Brownstown, he was right in there with some good cars.
Born Free 40.
Yeah.
Yes.
Top 5.
Yeah, and then they
hold
didn't
back
even
for
pay
it.
a bonus like I did.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
cow, come on, Zach.
I know.
Man, get with it, brother.
Come on, James. You're not supposed to dog me.
Well, that's a
shoot.
very interesting deal on this crate, and I have been approached by this, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do the bonus at Paragon. I'm going to do it at the Brownstown races. I'm going to probably do it at Bloomington. It's like, okay, why don't I try to think about doing my own Northern All-Star Pro Crate point fund, like paying $1,000 to win at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to do that this year, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be
You know
awesome.
what I'm saying? Kind of do something. I would have loved to have done it this year, but just things have not gone, you know, as far as rainouts and all that, to where we can build any momentum. But it's something I'm thinking about in the future. I may have to do super stocks. Heck, who knows? I mean, I don't know.
True.
But I know people use the reasoning, and you guys sitting there at the table, you know, oh, it's expensive. Yeah, I've been in this almost 50 years. It was expensive in the 1980s.
Right.
I don't care what you did, a street stock, a late model, it has always been expensive. Hey, if a guy can afford a late model, I think everybody would want to run a late model.
Right.
You'd have 100 of them if everybody could afford one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's the truth.
So
we wouldn't have any of the sport
that's the
classes.
goal.
Everybody being a late model.
I mean, other than sprint cars, which, you know, they're just,
That's how we feel too.
people look at sprint cars and they look at late. An open 410 wing sprint car motor is $60,000. Okay. And the right rear tire is a little over $400, and you go through one of them in one race.
Right.
But what's crazy about the sprint cars is, and I had some high limit guys tell me this, the left rear tire, which is smaller than the right rear, is more expensive than the right rear. Now you figure that out. I have no clue how that happens.
That makes no sense.
Now a late model rebuild is about $10K, I think. Zach, am I right? I don't know.
That I'm not sure. The crate stuff is obviously a little bit cheaper,
But a sprint car rebuild is about $20K.
Yes.
So you figure it out what's going on.
Yeah.
But guys, you know, it's great to be a late model and a sprint car driver nowadays, because there's more money than ever up for grabs for both of them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks to Lucas, the Outlaws, Flow, whatever, put money into all this deal. You got 43 cars at a Mars race, 5,000 win night in Iowa. In the middle of nowhere, Iowa, which has got more dirt tracks than any other state. That speaks volumes. Yeah,
Yes.
I know MLRA went away. Mars does a great job. Matt and Jonathan, I'd love to I'm trying to pattern my stuff after them, because they're strong in Illinois and Iowa. I want to own Indiana. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to own Indiana, little bit of Kentucky. I don't know about Ohio, but I've got enough travel, you know, for these guys. Like I said, a lot of them have one car and one motor, and with my schedule for them fits them a lot. Fits them pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen where Mars is going to do a street stock series.
That's a tough. I mean, you know, I had looked at that. I talked to the Sassers, and I talked and I'd like to get them into a late model. I mean, as much money as they're putting into these super stocks and what they're running for, you might as well just go get a crate late model, right?
That's it right there.
Absolutely.
That's the answer to the super
Right,
stock
or get back into.
debacle.
I mean, Adam Sasser ran modifieds for years, and it's like, go do that now that we're doing this, because I don't know what the future. Pure stocks, like I said, are doing. Hornets are not bad. My only concern about the Hornets is safety issue. I just see a lot of stuff I don't like.
Right.
As far as safety and stuff is concerned on those. But the super stocks, man, I really don't know what is happening there.
And I did think you kind of hit the nail on the head with, as far as expense goes. I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you might as well just go buy a modified or a crate. I mean, you're going to have
a lot more
places to race.
It's like, all these guys talk about Lucas and Outlaws and late models. It's like, if you can afford to do it, they're going to do it.
Yep.
It's like, well, they need to cut cost. How are you going to cut cost in an open late model? Tell me that.
Right.
Tell me how. Oh well, they need to straighten these bodies up. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but that's not gonna
cost.
Yeah, that's gonna up your cost, because then it's $2,000 shocks. It's paying Cody Mallory $10,000 to come work on your race car.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to Steve Arpit and Longhorn or Mark Richards and say, well, you can only sell that rolling chassis instead of 40K, you can only sell it for 20. Or you're not going to go to Clements or Cornette and say if you want to go get a crate. If you can't afford a super, go get a crate. And I don't know how much your motor is, Zach. I do not know.
15,000 complete, ready to drop in.
Yeah.
That's blueprinted and everything.
So a third of the price.
Yeah. And you know how it is. There's some I'm not talking about tech badly at some places, but it's not good at some places.
Right.
That's what's killing the whole thing.
Yes.
And there's things. I'm not a fan of the droop rule. I think I've made that known in the past. I've even said that on broadcasts, I think, with Lucas.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of it, but I think there's other things they can do, but it's a part of it that has to be done.
Right.
And I don't care if you're Northern All-Star, Lucas, Outlaw, Indiana Pro late model. You've got to enforce the droop rule, because if not, it just runs wild.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You have the
What I don't understand about the droop rule, and I've been in this a long time, is that you can see pictures of guys out on the track, and the hike on these cars, Zach, as you will. I mean, it's like, up to the sky.
Right.
It's like, okay, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting topic.
Our points are tight. I add in, you got to add in like Devin Gilpin and all that to what we're doing with us, and how that helps him out, because it's just like with Josh Rice. And Josh Rice can't win outside of Florence. Well, we'll see. Devin Gilpin can't win outside of Brownstown. Well, he's run well at Florence. He's second in the points. He's only 10 back, so he's got a shot at the championship. That is what it's for. The Zach Blackwoods, the people like that. That's what this deal is for. And that's what's got me enthused about the future, that, hey, we just keep building this, and then we build the modified up, then, that's enough for me to handle Zach and Matt. I would love to do super stocks, but.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just stating that I seen where Mars was going to do
that. But crates, I could probably.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
I know you don't like to be called crates, because if Florence, they changed theirs to pro, and I get all of that.
It doesn't bother me.
I
know I don't have the money for super.
So we announced it here that James Essex is going to start a Northern All-Star Hornet division.
Hornet division.
What was you going to say, James?
Well, the Hornets threw me off there for a moment. It's just like the thing they were going to do a Kokomo this weekend, the XR stuff, and they got moved to August because of the weather. But it's like, man, I cannot even imagine charging $600. I know it's $100,000 to win or whatever, but $600 entry fee, and they like sell out within minutes, or hours, and it's like, if I tried to do that, it's like, man, I'd feel bad charging 50 for late model and 40 for modified, and then charge 600, and just people go nuts, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just great, and you have a waiting list.
Yeah.
It's insane, for sure.
I can't figure it. It's the craziest sport. It's just, I guess that's why we love it. It's just, you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps us coming back.
But yeah, I'm pleased with CarCast. I mean, you say, well, 35 at Florence both nights. That's great. But last week there were 10 new drivers that hadn't run with us. So it's like, it ain't the same 35.
Right. Exactly.
So overall, we probably got 45 to 50 that are running with us so far. And the modifieds are going to pick up as well. So You know,
I don't know. I'm excited. I've been ever since the Northern All Stars restarted. I've been excited about it. So I just think that, you know, from a fan's perspective, you know, and we all like the national stuff. Don't get me wrong. I think the regional stuff coming back, like with Northern All Stars and Hunt the Front and Mars, you know, I think it gives that, you know, regional guy a lot more exposure, and the racing's phenomenal.
Well, I mean, we know how much it costs to run Lucas and Outlaws. I mean, it's just, and you've got high limit and Outlaws now in sprint cars, and that's great, and that's good. Like I said, more money than late. It's good to be a late model guy and a sprint car driver right now because there's more money than ever before. Points fund money, winner circle money, and so on. That's one thing I'd like to get to in Northern All Stars is winner circle money. Not to that point yet, but I know Mars is doing a little bit of that. But like I said, with Mars and that with MLRE going away, they're going to own Illinois and Iowa.
Yeah.
And that's great. So I want to own Indiana and, you know, try to get, and obviously I'm at Florence. So, I mean, you know, but Ohio, I don't know. I don't know how much traveling I want to do with that. I've had offers to go to Michigan and West Virginia and all that. And I just, no.
Right.
Not right now, and probably not going to. Let someone else do that. But it's like,
area.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one thing I
like
like
I said,
is the money going back through the field.
Yes.
I mean, that's the biggest thing to get people there. And obviously,
well,
you're
you've
doing
seen
a
the
good job
payoffs,
with that.
Zach. I mean, you're talking 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 for the top five.
And that's
huge.
phenomenal. And I think that's why you're getting such good car counts is because of that.
That is a part of it. And in the Florence 2 weeks ago, we'd pay 10,000, win 1,000 to start. So,
Right.
And then tomorrow night's 10,071 to win and 750 to start. So
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's phenomenal. That's
it
more
is.
than I won in a crate for, you know, second place.
Yeah.
What did it pay the other night? I mean, I don't. It's 1,000 to win at Brownstown still, right?
Yeah, it's 1,000 to win. It was 600 for second.
Well, that's you know that going into it, right? I mean, that's just you know that going into
Just
it.
part
I
of
mean,
it.
you're not going to make. We're not going to make any money doing that, right?
No.
I mean, you know, but
Yeah.
you look at the other aspect of it. I mean, Brownstown's had so many rainouts, and it's just tough. And then you come in, you go on a sprint race Saturday, and the weather looks very iffy, and it's like, man, can you get a break? And it's like, if we had gotten those races in early March and everybody thinks we're crazy, if we had done that, well, they would have, I mean, the place would have been packed and we'd had a ton of cars, but it just didn't happen. And you had a late winter where snow on the ground is up, you know, up until the end of February. And you just don't have, I mean, one day it'll be 80, the next it'll be 40. That's just the way it is in Indiana. It looks like we're going to get a good break tomorrow at Paragon. And, man, I just hope people come out and we can pack. I mean, you know, pack this place out.
Me too. That's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed.
Before we let him go, can you drop any info on Scottsburg? Do you know what's going on up there for that?
Well, there was a gentleman in Kentucky. His name's Jesse Puckett. He owned a late model that, well, Gray Johnson drove it a couple of years ago, and then he's still got a late model. He had talked to the fair board, and I haven't talked to him for a few weeks now, about a month. And he was going to run a couple of races there, but he wanted me in there. That's where we're at on that. I don't know how all this goes with the fair board down there and all of that. So there's still probably a question mark on that race, but I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know an answer right now.
We're pulling
on that.
for you on that one because that's.
Well, I appreciate
I love that
And-
place.
And to be honest with you, I did talk to Jim Price about Twin Cities, and it's like, okay, now I believe he owns that. I don't think I'm saying anything out of line here, but I told him back in December, I said, why don't we run a couple Northern All-Star races there? Well, he'll have to think about it, but it's like, okay, I mean, I hate to see a place sit, and I understand the whole circumstances of everything about that deal. And I think we can make something work. It's just, you know, if I had some extra cash sitting around, I would come in there and run a couple of races, but it's the more it sits, the more it just, you know, day by day, month by month, year by year, it just kind of
deteriorates,
you know, it deteriorates. And I hope to someday that we can reopen that. Jim will reopen that, and we can run a couple Northern All-Star races there and do that. But it's a track I don't think weekly racing anymore that would work.
Right. I think it's a prime example of that, James, was the Summer Nationals when they ran Twin Cities one night and then Brownstown the following night. It was 2 back-to-back, just something like that to where you could utilize both tracks and you're only traveling 25, 30 minutes.
Well, I did both tracks. Well, I ran both tracks in the mid-'90s, and quite honestly, there were nights I made more money at Twin Cities than I did at Brownstown. Now, obviously, we didn't run head-to-head the same night, but it's like, but that was a long time ago, and you're talking things are different now with fans and with drivers, and that's back when you had 40 late models and 40 street stocks and 40 bombers and 40 modifieds.
Yeah.
You could do that, but there aren't that. I mean, obviously, we all know there aren't that many like that anymore,
right,
as far as car counts. And it's like, okay, so if you go in and somebody opens Twin Cities back up, when would you run on Saturday night? What would you run? Was Twin Cities a very good sprint car track? I mean, it's been known for that for a long time, but it's like, you're not going to come in and run Saturday night sprints because you got Lawrenceburg, you got Paragon, you got Putnamville.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many sprint cars to go on. I mean, look at Lawrenceburg. They've got a very limited schedule as far as their Saturday night, as far as regular sprint cars. So their local guys, they don't have anywhere to run, but it's like, man, I don't know. But I think a Northern All-Star late model or modified deal there could work.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But you'd only do it a couple times. This is something that, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. And Jim could tell you that firsthand. I mean, it's tough. And with streaming available now, it's a whole different ballgame than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, to where, I mean, to me, and we found this out in October, guys, as you know, at Pittsburgh, we went to Brownstown and went to Eldora. The weather was perfect. I mean, the weather was great.
Yeah.
And is that going to be the same this year? It might snow this October. Heck, I don't know. It might be 40 degrees. But we had like 70, 75 degrees all 3 of those weekends, and it was perfect. To me, that's what scares me about it. If I was a promoter, you got to have almost perfect weather. If you've got a 40, 50% chance of rain, it's tough because people are going to stay at home and watch Flow or watch something else. That's just the way people are so spoiled now.
Yep.
Sorry if I'm running over time here.
No, you're good.
People are spoiled. People spoiled.
Yes, they are. And right? I think, yes, 100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when I doing a broadcast or whatever, I'm doing Flow, and I ran into MAF TV Plus when we did that. You get a little bit of a glitch and people just go nuts. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, you're paying $150 a year, okay?
Yeah.
For Flow, which is great for all that they offer. It's awesome. When I am on REMC, when my electricity goes out, if it goes out for 6 hours, they don't reimburse me.
No.
All these people, well, Flow needs to send me, they need to reimburse me from no, well, REMC don't do that.
No.
Right?
No.
If my cable goes out, Dish Network is not going to send me a check, reimburse me for anything for my high rate that I'm paying.
That's true.
But Flow is it's 179 now. A year.
Yeah.
A year.
Yes. I mean, that's
it is probably twice. Yeah.
And that's the thing about that's if you and a family, that's 2 weekends to the track, pays for the whole year. I mean, time you buy your entry, food, whatever, snacks, and all that stuff. I get why promoters have to charge what they charge, and Flow does help them out. Don't get me wrong. Yes, but
it's like it's not the same as if you're there. You got to be there. The sight, smell, sounds, all this blah blah.
We've talked about that with JT about the smells and
JT 95 would know. 95 would know right there.
Yeah,
right.
Yep. He would know.
Here's the thing about it is. It's great around here. I think Brownstown does as many cars they get, they do a good job. You go down to the south, and I go down there quite a bit with Lucas Oil. They're running with Duck River, Clarksville. Nothing against those deals. Okay, you're running 7, 8, 9 classes. Every time they run a special show, there is no way that would work here.
No.
And people don't have the patience to sit through that. Sorry.
No,
Right.
they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Right?
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
100%
a lot of
right
people
on
see
that.
5 on there now, and they're like, "Oh my god," But
Can you imagine us coming into the Jackson 100 and running 6 classes?
That'd be a
the old
mess.
interwebs would be blowing up, wouldn't it? People
Oh, yeah.
complaining and griping, and
Last week I was at Florence, obviously Northern All Stars. So Lucas Oil Speedway, Wheeling runs, and Hudson and won both, and great turnout of cars and all that. And I'm getting all these messages. What happened to Essex? Where's Essex at? How come he's not? It's like, no, it's a non-sanctioned race.
right.
Because they always associate me with Lucas Oil, and that's fine and dandy. It's like, man, it ain't the same. Where's he at? It's like, no, I'm not there. I wasn't going to be there anyway. It's right.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I've seen people comment on Facebook about like Brandon Shepard and all those guys that was running Farmer City. They're like, I can't believe they dropped off the Lucas tour. And it's like, it's not a Lucas race. Yeah, it's at Lucas Oil Speedway, but yeah,
right.
they assumed it was a Lucas
they
race.
had over 40 cars, which was great, but it's just, and I appreciate everybody's support, no doubt about it. It's like, but I mean, I don't know if I'll ever retire. Probably not. I don't plan to, but it's like,
You love it too much.
you
James.
get taken for granted sometimes. And it's like, there's one day I won't be there. I mean, I'll be whatever, but who knows? But I mean, I don't know. As long as I enjoy doing it. Now that I'm running my own series as well.
If you retire from announcing with Lucas, will you join us as a co-host on Flag to Flag Media Live? We love to have you every Thursday night.
It don't pay nothing. It's awful.
I could not imagine God willing, my health stays good. It's like, man, I don't ever plan to retire from anything, but it's like, and there's a lot of very good announcers out there, and there's a lot of very good, sanctioning bodies, don't get me wrong, but I mean, Lucas has got the deepest roster. They got a heck of a schedule. They pay more money than anybody. They got more points than anybody, and I like the people running it, and it's good.
Yes.
And like I said, on my off weekends, doing this Northern All-Star, bringing it back, there's a lot of talented drivers. There's a lot of fans that want to see this, so it's something to do. There's just not enough weekends in a year to make everything work, and everybody talks about an off season. Well, we need an off season. Well, you're not going to have an off season anymore.
No.
It's just not.
It's just the way
Gateway,
it is.
Well, it used to be done before, November, and then through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, and now Gateway's really good. Flow obviously helps out. You got 30,000 people there now. Vado is a fantastic facility, great racing, but nobody's there, right? Nobody's in the grandstand.
No.
And it's like, it's like the deal at Speed Weeks. To me, it'll never be the same with East Bay being gone. I think everybody knows that.
Yep.
All right.
And I was kind of, you're not as enthusiastic about, nobody is without East Bay.
No.
And it ain't ever coming back. So
and there's
what
nothing
do
to
you
replace
do?
it.
You go down there, and then Volusia starts in January again, which is way early. So you got to work around that. And it's like, okay, what does it make any sense? You go head to head with them. Then you split up 50 cars. Then people are mad because you're getting 25, 30 at every race. What's going on? I don't know.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. We've talked about it before. It's like East Bay's gone. How do you replace it? You can't replace it.
You can't replace it.
So now
you'll never replace it. No, right.
The hype was all around East Bay for Speed Weeks.
You're exactly right.
And now that's gone, it's like, well, watch it, but it's just not the same.
People say, well, why did Al sell it? Why did he? Well, he got a very good deal from the Mosaic, the mining company, but it's like, that's the only time he made money the whole year was when Lucas Oil was there for the Winter Nationals.
Yes.
He ran all this other Winter National stuff with modifieds and crates and sprints, and his weekly show, they don't even run in like July through August because it's so hot.
Yeah.
But it's the only time he made money was when Lucas Oil was there for the Winter Nationals for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's the only time he ever made money. And it's like, you get to be at his age, I don't know, mid to upper 60s. I want to retire and enjoy life, right? Spend time with his kids, grandkids. And you get a sweetheart deal, and it's like, oh, then the guy becomes evil. It's like, oh, how dare he? Well, don't blame him, do you?
Right. No, I don't blame him at all.
Look at 411 in Tennessee.
Yep.
I mean, Mitch McCarter sells, and it's like he got way more than he paid for it out of it.
Yeah.
So we can't blame him. He's a businessman.
Yep.
Yeah, I hate it for the fans and drivers because that was a pretty cool track, but it's like, I'm glad to see some reopening. Don't get me wrong, but you look at Portsmouth. Portsmouth may never reopen again.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's like around here, Twin Cities, Whitewater. What's going to happen at Salem? Right?
Thunder
You're there.
Valley.
I mean, I don't. Who knows? Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's these promoters. I mean, you got to get out and support them.
Have to.
Got to support them. If you don't, then they're
especially like I said with Paragon Speedway, when a track and them when they're putting their heart and soul into it, it's up to us fans and drivers and all of us to go support them because they're doing their part. We got to do our part. That's how I look at it.
Well, it's like Bloomington. The guys that are taking over Bloomington, you've seen the job they're doing with the banking, the race, the facility. They're fixing it up. It's going to take a little bit more time, but if they don't come along at the end of last year when the promoter left there, they may never reopen. Who the heck knows, right?
Yep.
I mean, they may be done forever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the people talk about Brownstown, and I know they whine and complain, and it's the same people. It's the same 12 people every time something happens, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the same 12 people, guys. And it's like as long as Jim wants to be there, he could. I mean, the races that I've run there, he's done good at. Okay, and I think he does a good job. He did. If people think they can do a better job, then you go to the fair board and you apply, but they don't want to make a change.
Right.
And if he wants to stay there, fine. I back him 100%.
Right.
Does everybody agree with everything? No, they didn't agree with what Ted Collins and Kenny Woods and Roger Williams and me or Tim Keithley or whoever else has run it. They don't agree.
But the gate's
open.
open.
They probably didn't have internet back in the day of the 80s and 90s, but
right.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, at least it's open.
Exactly.
He's trying to run a weekly show. Need to get out and support him.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
I agree.
And they do run a timely show. I mean, they're exactly, I don't know what time you got out of there last week, right? I don't know what time.
Yeah.
I think we got home 11
o'clock.
Yeah, he runs.
You got back to Salem at 11. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, very good.
He does a great. I mean, it is so tough. It is so tough to be a promoter nowadays. I mean, I don't think I'd ever want to do it again. I mean, promoting what I do for Northern All-Stars and Lucas Oil. I mean, it's just like, man, it's a time-consuming deal. And just think about it. He goes out and works on that racetrack all week long. He don't get paid to do it because he's, it's himself.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
It's not like when I had it. I had to pay somebody to work on the track, X amount of dollars a week, whether we raced or not on Saturday. If we got rained out, I still had to pay the guy. Right.
Yep.
Still had to pay him.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Richard Bain. He did a fantastic job, but I still had to pay him.
Right.
We come Saturday morning and it's rained out. I still had to pay him his fee for the week.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Track's
well, you got to remember, you got to order food like early in the week.
Yes.
You got to for your concession stand, and if you don't run, then you got to. Then sometimes it's too late to cancel it. And man, back in the day when we did advertising in newspapers and racing papers, and you don't have that anymore. But it's like programs and all this stuff. Your insurance, you have to pay it ahead of time.
Yep.
Well, that's what we had to do. So
a lot of money up front. And
there's a lot of money up front
to get the weekend in. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think before you open the gates, you got to have like couple thousand in like petty cash, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Petty cash just to to do that at the pit gate and main gate. And it's just, I don't know how anybody could do it anymore. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's just a tough, man, I don't know.
Tough business.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be like an Eldora. I mean, the expense of Eldora to open the gates is unbelievable. People would have no idea how expensive it is to open the gates, to pay everybody, your insurance, your Porta-John leasing, and just on and on and on. And it's a great place, no doubt about it. But can you imagine that how people have no idea? I don't have an idea. I got kind of an idea. It would just blow your mind.
Oh, I guarantee
just
it.
to open the gates, what it cost.
Guarantee it. Well, there's 20,000 Porta-Johns there. I'd hate to say I could even afford a Porta-John round.
Oh, yeah. They're getting a better deal on them, I think, now. But, well, Tony Stewart's got all of this. Tony Stewart is very intelligent. He's not stupid. He knows he's got to have the sponsors as well to make this work,
Yes.
like Knoxville or Port Royal or whatever. That money doesn't grow on trees. So,
Yes.
but I'm glad to see tracks like LaSalle, Illinois, and all of Paducah coming in. Paducah gets flooded out, and they come back a couple years ago. So you wonder where that's going to put them in the future. But it's like, man, you look at the state of Kentucky about, Bardstown closed forever, Glasgow closed forever, Campbellsville's closed forever. You go on and on. It's like, man, those are some really good places. Kentucky Lake was a fantastic facility, gone forever.
Yep.
And it's like around here, man, we're hanging on. We're doing okay, but we can do better. But it's like, before you wish something that, it's like a new basketball coach or football coach, you better have somebody better.
Right.
Because if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you.
It can go downhill real quick.
Yep.
Well, you just get, I'm not saying you get burned out on it, but you probably just get, but the constant criticism from the same people.
Yes.
It's the same people every time. And it's like, hey, you just gotta,
Just gotta ignore them and go on. It's hard.
Well, that's
It's
what
hard.
I try to
Pound the
do. I
keys
try
so
to-
hard.
you just bite your tongue. It's like people talk, they'll talk negative about Jonathan David, Ricky Thornton, Hudson O'Neal, tremendous race car drivers, but always something negative. Somebody's got to throw in something thinking they're smarter than anybody. Oh, yeah.
Right.
They don't know these.
Right.
They just think that they oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they act like these drivers are listening to everything they're saying and caring. Like, it's like, I don't know.
Well, it's like Bobby Pierce. He's just probably the best driver right now. I mean, him and Thornton and those guys up there, Devin's doing really well. But one little mistake, like they get into somebody or take, oh my gosh, this is just terrible.
Yeah. World's coming to an end. Yep. Blow up
It's
for
just
him.
like with Tyler. Tyler is a talented driver, but he has his moments, right?
Oh,
Good
yeah.
and bad. And when it's bad, it's really bad. And people just go nuts. And
Oh, that's funny.
it just amazes me how these so-called fans, they're just better off not to comment,
Yes,
okay? Because it makes them look bad. And it's just like with rainouts. We could do a whole show on rainouts. Nothing burns me up more than rainouts. Yeah, we're all disappointed. But please don't take a snapshot of your weather app and send it to us.
Right.
We've got like
Right.
10. I know Rick Schwally and probably Steve Francis have 10 weather apps, okay?
Yes.
Maybe more. These promoters know what's going on. It's like they're disappointed like everybody else, but yeah, we know it's going to rain, or we don't know it. I don't know. I look in the sky. If it's raining, then we're not racing. If it's not raining, we're probably racing.
Right. Right.
The thing about Lucas Oil and Outlaws is you're traveling so far. You're traveling 8-10 hours. A lot of guys, you got to make a decision by Wednesday on some things if you know it's going to be bad. But holy cow. Just like this week at Paragon, we put out a press release, buddy. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. Yeah, it's like we don't know. Okay.
Right.
So we'll adjust it on the fly, which we have. And it's like, But why do they, Zachary Stalker, why do people send snapshots of their weather app? Why they act like that we don't know, right?
I have no idea, James. You ain't gonna
You
see
don't
me
do that,
doing
do
that.
you?
No, I don't do that. No.
Okay.
And I stay off Facebook when it comes to comment and stuff like that.
There's some dumb people.
Well,
in
it's
there,
like 2 weeks ago when we have monsoon. I mean, it's just the nobody raced anywhere, and it's like there's probably somebody somewhere that made a comment about something that it was called too soon, right?
Right. Yes.
You get 5 inches of rain. It's like, it quit by 5.
It could dry out. Yeah, it could dry out.
That's what gets. Well, they quit by 5.
Right.
It's like 2 years ago, and I'm sorry to carry over time here.
You're good. You're
You
good.
guys get overtime, right, Zachary? You get
Yeah.
overtime. JT, you get overtime.
Yeah.
Time and a half on zero. It is.
Good stuff. Hey, it's just like it's just like a couple years ago and then we're going next weekend, Lucas Oil, Georgetown, Delaware, Hagerstown, Maryland, Port Royal, Pennsylvania. 2 years ago, there was a 90% chance of rain in Delaware, a 90% chance on Sunday at Port Royal, but a small chance at Hagerstown. Well, you got to make the call. Schwally makes the call. He makes the call like a Wednesday. No problem, right? You're going to travel 8 to 10 hours, maybe more. Some of these made the right call. People went nuts at Hagerstown like, well, they could have come out for one show. No, we're not coming out for one show.
No, that's too, yeah.
We're not going to cancel Friday and Saturday and Sunday and say, okay, we're going to go to Hagerstown for one show. No.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's
and
tough.
I get it. I get it. We've been rained out a ton at Hagerstown. It's like Granite City, Illinois.
Yes.
If you can bank on it, right? But it's like, well, the weather looks good for next weekend. But I'm just saying, I get it. Everybody's disappointed. It's not like we do it on purpose, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Those swings are
It's
kind of
just
set up for all or none, right? I mean, it's like if you're going to
when you got Outlaws or Lucas, yeah, absolutely. You're looking after the race teams.
Yes.
It's just like if you at Brownstown a few weeks ago, we knew what was going to happen. I told Jim on Thursday night, I said, whenever you want to send out the press, I said, let's do it tonight. I said, I'm not going to wait on noon on Friday.
Right.
Everybody knows there's 100% chance it ain't going to happen. I'm not wasting people's time and money.
Yep.
And and I know, and sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes the weatherman is wrong. Sometimes he's right.
Yep.
Sometimes he's wrong. And what do you do, right?
Right. You just got to make
none of us would have a job if we were wrong 50% of the time, right? Or 80 or whatever it is.
Right.
I should have been a weatherman because you still get paid.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. Not as much as you do for being on air, but
Logan, if you guys get a chance to hire Logan for that,
that's right. But with the streaming now, it makes it even. It's like, whoa, because okay, so Brownstown. I don't know what the percent. I don't. Let's say it was a Lucas race Saturday at Brownstown. It's like, oh, you're looking at this like, there's just no way. And the icebreaker was cold. I mean, it was cold again for 2 years. And that hurts,
right?
Because if it is 50, 55 degrees, people are just going to stay at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how do you make up for that? It's like, well, people were saying a few years ago, well, there needs to be a blackout like the NFL. I don't know if the NBA or Major League Baseball still does that. You can't do that on streaming.
No.
That's not like a national network, ABC, ESPN, Fox, whatever. You can have a blackout of the local market. You can't do that in streaming. So that's impossible. So it's like, okay, so why can't Flow offset? Well, you don't know how many people you're going to have. I mean, and it's like, I don't know what the answer is on that, honestly.
It's a tough spot.
I don't know how the horse is already out of the barn on that deal. I don't think that you're ever going to.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
You're never going to go back to where, I mean, I've got asked about tomorrow. It's like, well, we're on Hunt the Front, which helps me out and it helps the promoter out because they write him a check and it's like, fine. Plus I'm still announcing, which is fine, but it's like, But
even with
we're all spoiled.
Even with the streaming services though, even if Flow doesn't say they weren't doing this weekend, right? They blocked out or whatever. But through TikTok and Facebook and all the lives, and you can find and watch a race somewhere.
Well, somebody will go live somewhere. Absolutely.
Yes.
Somebody will go live somewhere. And that's a very good point. You remember 4 or 5 years ago, we had nothing like this because the only thing we had live was we had pay-per-view Lucas Oil on Dirt.
Yes.
We did some pay-per-views 4 or 5 a year. The rest of the time, it was not on anything.
Well, we went
from see highlights the next day on Dirt.
Yes,
and now every race, Lucas Oil, World of Outlaws, everything is live on streaming, and it's like, wow. You know, everybody talks about NASCAR, and you know that's another subject, and I know how people feel about some of the $1.1 billion a year. TV and streaming rights per year. They just signed a new contract last year. So you're looking for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much goes back to the racetracks. Of course, they're all owned, Marcus Smith and Motor Speedway Man and the France family, and they own, I think both of them own basically everything anyway.
Right.
The tracks are obviously in the ticket sales and a blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so there's a ton of money out there. And it's like, well, you're looking at the NFL now. I mean, you're on Amazon, you're on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
You're on Fox, NBC, CBS, and all this. And the streaming, Amazon's paying a boatload a year to be on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime. And like I said, Netflix, they're doing playoff games. Well, how come we can't see? Well, you got to pay for it.
Right.
So,
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it
was $150 a year. All that you got to see, and all the college sports, which I don't watch, but there,
it's on there.
I'll watch sprint cars. I'll watch USAC. I'll watch High Limit. I'll watch Mars. Obviously, I'm there for the Lucas Oil stuff.
Yeah,
and it's the way it is.
But it's not going to go in reverse. That's the thing that we all have to understand. It's not going to
go in reverse. Like I said, the horse is already out of the barn. It's already, the door's already shut.
Yeah,
there's no going back. And
that horse is already halfway across the pasture. Like you ain't catching it.
How this all happened was during COVID in 2020. We all know at Eldora, you know, part of being a part of that, where it's an invite only. Flo had it, paid big money. I mean, you know, you're talking. It was when Lucas Oil reopened, when we went to Golden Isles and East Bay. I mean, it was about $200,000 to $300,000 that it cost to do that. Because you had no fans.
Right.
You had no fans.
Right.
At either one of those, at Eldora. And you're talking big purses at Eldora, big amounts to win. And that's where it really like, hey, you know, this is something, you know, because if COVID never happens, who knows where we're at 5 years later, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, these promoters like, well, you know, Flo's going to pay me X amount of dollars and do that. And, you know, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's no going back. You're right, Matt. I mean, there's no going back to where, but I think obviously it hurts the local shows. I don't think there's any question about it, because people will stay home and watch a Lucas race or watch an outlaw race on Dirt Vision than to go to a racetrack for a regular show, or if the weather is questionable. I mean, Jim Price found that out last June, World of Outlaws. You bring him in, 100 degrees, you know, and it wasn't good.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't good, unfortunately. I mean, it's a bad deal.
Yep.
But it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's a chance you take.
Because if you cancel it, then you get barbecued over the internet. You get everybody barbecues you.
It goes back to point A, what we were talking about a while ago. Yeah. So what do you do? It just doesn't make any sense.
My always thinking on this the last couple of years on this weather is like, okay, if you go and it's rained let's say overnight or in the morning, and you decide you're going to race, and then the track gets rough and you tear up a bunch of cars, people are like, well, they should have canceled at 11 in the morning.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because people are used to canceling by 11 or noon, let's say, on a Friday, Saturday. And if you don't, and you run and the track's bad,
You still.
and you have 32 people in the grandstand, it's like, well, you should have canceled 11, right?
Right. Exactly. It's a no-win situation.
What do you do? It's a
Yeah.
no-win situation for nobody.
Yeah. You can't make anybody
I
happy.
mean, nobody wants to. A promoter, he puts in all the hard work during the week.
In
you get
situations
to
like
Saturday-
that, there's only one person that's happy, and that's the person that's standing in victory lane. That's really, I mean, because everybody, you run it, people are mad. You don't run it, people are mad. So,
All right, let's
Well,
wrap,
yeah, I mean,
let's
it's
wrap
just,
her up
it's
here.
just,
what?
Let's wrap her up. I gotta go work in the morning, boys.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, me too.
These guys are getting tired on
you
this
need to
day.
pay them guys over. I know we could go on all night.
yeah,
but we won't.
it was awesome, but I am excited for tomorrow night, and we're looking
All
forward to
right.
be. We're all planning on being up there to support you.
I
We're
appreciate
all going to be
that.
there. We're all going to be there, James.
Well, I got to get you home and get to bed. If not, you'll.
Yeah, he's
right.
going to be giving up on
Well,
us.
4:30 comes early, boys.
Whatever. James,
All right,
what-
guys. Say, I appreciate it. You guys keep up the good work. We appreciate all the local stuff that
yes.
you do with all the tracks and the Northern All Stars, and we appreciate your support. And man, I really want to see this work out tomorrow night. And I think it will.
I
Yep.
think so too. I
Yep.
think you're going to have a really good turnout up there.
It's going to be good.
Appreciate it, guys.
And hopefully we can get you back on sometime later in the summer. We'll catch up some more. So,
Well, we'll start at 6:00 next time.
yeah,
there we
that's the way
go.
JT can get to bed. All right, we appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow,
All right,
James.
See you, James.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All
Thanks, James.
Bye.
Thank you.
Well, that was
All right,
he gave a
that's-
lot of info on everything.
Yes.
that was good.
I love talking.
That was
to
really
James,
good.
But I was keeping track of like a lot of people's comments. Like James is one of those types of guys, man. Like we could go on for hours and hours and hours and never
just
it's
did.
never a dull moment. But I'm just saying, so you can always learn something or
Yeah.
whatever's going on in the racing world. And
There was nothing boring about any of it.
no,
I
JT's
didn't-
just got to get up early.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
I am too. I'm tired.
I've had to put a
So-
race car back together this week to try to go tear it up again this weekend.
But yeah, we'll thanks everybody for sticking with us. 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks. That's the
Yep.
original plan. Get out to Paragon Speedway tomorrow night and support James and the Northern All-Star late models and modified. So
Yeah, we'll be over there. So
Yep.
stop by and see us if you're walking around.
we're going to cut out for JT and Peyton doze off here on the table, and we'll see y'all when the next flag flies.
See you guys.
So, yeah.